Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Katie Petrick, as always, joined by the Mr., the David, the Fiorazzo, the author that is.
Yes.
You just had a book come out.
You have it there.
This one, to be exact.
Whose copy is that?
My copy. He's such a nice guy.
Yes.
I got to get him to autograph it, though. So, just since everyone around here, can I tease something for them?
I can arrange that. Sure.
Since we're all family and friends here, right? And you've been around enough to see David talk on this show. He basically put all of us into his book without him even knowing it. Chapter 2's title, What Would Our Great-Grandparents Think? I love it. He put a little piece of our family here from Educated.
Yeah, how many times have I asked that question on Educated? What would our great-grandparents think?
If anyone has the count, please stop watching us and go find another hobby, because please don't keep track of that. But anyway, David, tease your book. Where can they get it?
Thank you. Amazon.com. The ebook is live already. It's there. Today actually is the day that you can order the paperback.
Ooh.
And they're really fast because it's print on demand over at Amazon. I have 500 copies too, but that's for people that live close to Northeast Wisconsin.
You're just like chucking them out the window as you drive down the highway?
There is an event coming up at Freedom Project, and that's going to be on December 7th, where I'll be talking about the book. We're going to be doing a Q&A, live audience here, and also we're going to be streaming it online. So it's December 7th at 7 p.m. here at Freedom Project. And we'll talk about assault on the image of God. How to respond, first of all, how to understand what's happening, the spiritual warfare behind everything that's going on, and then how, as believers, do we respond to this? Because silence is not an option any longer. If we want to just see our country and society and the world go in the same direction it's been going for, 100 years or more, then just don't say anything. Just don't care. But I don't think that's an option for people who are, responsible citizens, right?
All right. Well, you talk about these types of things every day as well on Worldview Matters. So what did you talk about today?
Oh, great show today. This woman is amazing. Barbara Lowe Fisher. Her son, I believe, was injured by a vaccine in 1980. She's been in this game way before COVID. She is the co-founder and president of NVIC, the National Vaccine Information Center. And so on Worldview Matters today, I wish we had 3 hours with this woman, but you need to watch this interview and just see what you can do to get informed and then get the information out there, because she and her organization, about getting the truth out about vaccines, they have been censored, surprise, surprise. Not just locally and nationally, but globally. So go to worldviewmatters.tv. You can see that episode with Barbara Lowe Fisher and subscribe to our weekly email updates. And Katie, look at that.
What do you know?
Let's rumble a little bit.
Let's rumble. If you want to actually see what we like to say and do around here and we're not being censored, then you should go follow us on Rumble. All you have to do is go to rumble.com/Freedom Project and you'll find Worldview Matters over there. You'll find Educated. We're doing our things, having some fun, and giving you the truth.
So, what day is it? Oh, it's Thursday. That means it's once again time to check in with Mr. Alex Newman, my favorite international correspondent and journalist. I love this man, and I'm just glad he reports on what he does, and without any reservation, his boldness. Alex.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's another one of those that you are not going to believe. Under the guise of closing the achievement gap between students of European ancestry and those of African and Latino heritage, victims of a government school in Illinois are now being put into segregated classrooms. Yes, you heard me correctly. 1950s, here we come. Apparently, education, quote-unquote, officials in Illinois think that eliminating all white students from the class is going to help non-whites perform better. At least that's what they want you to believe. So this explosive scandal just broken by the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. They had a headline, "To Shrink Learning Gap, This District Offers Classes Separated by Race." Yes, it's true. This is in the Evanston Township High School in Evanston, Illinois. It's kind of north of Chicago, a suburb. Lawyers for the district claim that because white-free classes are optional, that the laws forbidding segregation and racial discrimination in public institutions do not apply here. So according to the journal, almost 200 Black and Latino students have already signed up for this so-called, these affinity classes is what they're calling them. Absolutely no whites allowed. I'm not sure whether they do DNA testing or whether just looking at your skin is sufficient to block you from the class. But yeah, white teachers also totally barred from teaching these classes. Only BIPOCs are allowed. District leaders say that this makes non-white students feel more comfortable. They don't have to be in the presence of any students lacking enough melanin. And here's a quote from the Evanston School Board Vice President, Monique Parsons, speaking in November. She says, our Black students are, for lack of a better word, at the bottom consistently still, and they are being outperformed consistently. It's not good. She says, yeah, we need to do this. Obviously, white students are in a minority in this district. They represent about 44% of the student population, so they are not the majority oppressors, as the narrative would have you believe. Separately, the district superintendent, a guy called Marcus Campbell, he told the high school student newspaper, it's called the Evanstonian, that the goal of racially segregated classes was to provide, and I'm quoting here, a different, more familiar setting to kids who feel really anxious about being in AP classes. Proponents of this madness point to a quote-unquote study out of Oakland, California, that supposedly found that Black students in affinity classes were slightly less likely to drop out of school. Whether there was a causation relationship there or just a correlation was not made clear in the reporting. But yeah, so that's where we're at, folks. These classes being offered to only Black students in Evanston. They're called AXLE. That's supposed to stand for Advancing Excellence, Lifting Everyone. Although, of course, you and I both know excellence doesn't start with an X. They're going to call it AXLE anyway. And then the classes for Latinos only are called Ganas, which means desire or motivation in Spanish. And they have white-free classes in Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, AP Calculus, and even an English seminar. So the school board falsely claims that racism is the, and I'm quoting here, most devastating factor contributing to diminished achievement of students. That, of course, is a total fraud. The biggest factor contributing to the diminished achievement of students is the deliberately dumbing down process that has been going on for multiple generations. We exposed some of this in the book Crimes of the Educators some years ago. In fact, these methods that they use to quote-unquote teach reading, these quack methods, have been debunked since the 1840s, and yet they continue to use them in government schools all across America, producing massive devastation among students of all colors, by the way, especially darker-skinned students, as their own data shows. Now, there were some follow-up news articles that appeared on this issue after the Journal broke the story. You've got one by News Nation, a journalist calling herself Emily Finn, and she says that they have similar segregation programs in government schools in Minnesota, in California, and Washington State. And they quoted a far-left civil rights attorney, Robert Patillo, who said these segregation programs, and no hint of irony here, are bringing more children together. Okay. We're bringing more children together by separating them by race. Yes. Okay. George Orwell, red line, please. Anyways, under the guise of covering both sides of this story, this fake journalist, Emily Finn, said the real debate here is about whether we believe racial segregation for students is healthy and enriching, or it's just a short-term solution to larger iniquities in the community. No other opinions are allowed. Believing that segregating students by their skin color is wrong is apparently not an acceptable opinion. Obviously, critics did highlight the absurdity of all this. Laura Wellington over at the Western Journal had a really insightful piece. She says, to merely exist as a white person today is to hold Black and Latino people down. She says this is what liberals and progressives want everyone to believe as they blame whiteness as the primary cause for the educational inequality in our nation. Now, the Wall Street Journal did try to get comments from this district, from the officials. They didn't respond, so they sent a reporter to a public meeting. They threatened to shut the public meeting down if the journalist would not leave. They've provided no data, no analysis showing that their racial segregation schemes are actually improving anything for anyone of any color. But they do have data showing that Black and Latino students continue to do much worse than students of European ancestry. Now, it is true, right, and we cover this in the book Crimes of the Educators, that the progressive architects of this abomination we call a public school system were actually super racist. They were steeped in this crazy ideology of eugenics, the pseudoscientific quackery that some races are better than other races and all the rest. Of course, if they had read their Bible, they'd know that there's only one human race. But anyways, the real reason why Black and Latino students are doing way worse in government schools today than European ancestry students has nothing to do with racism. It, of course, has to do with, and all the studies show this, that the vast majority of children from Black parents are growing up without a father in a single family home, which every single study that's ever been done on this shows is absolutely catastrophic from every perspective. You're more likely to get into crime, more likely to drop out of school, more likely to do all the bad things that you can think of. So what students need here, obviously, is not racial segregation. They don't need more teachers. They don't need more tax money. The teachers don't need bigger pensions. They don't need more after-school programs. They don't need more U.S. Department of Education help. What they really need is actual education, starting with phonics so that they can learn how to read, so they can educate themselves. They need strong families with fathers at home to guide and discipline their children. And of course, they need a biblical understanding of morality and reality to be able to form a good character. So if parents needed more reasons to exit this absurd system called the public school system, well, this flagrant institutional racism fueling hatred and division among children is a very, very good one. It's time for this whole cancerous education system to be uprooted and replaced before it destroys what's left of our little country. Thanks, guys.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Hello, America. Welcome to One Nation. I'm your host, Dr. Jake Jacobs. 1 year after the anniversary of the Muslim murder of almost 3,000 Americans on 9/11, 2001, the Islamic jihadi Osama bin Laden wrote an evil letter to America. Now, it was a 12-page diatribe, and in this letter, we see bin Laden's hatred of Israel and the Jews. He says inside the letter, the creation of Israel is a crime that must be erased. The Jews have no historical right to Palestine because Muslims conquered Palestine and drove out the Romans. This guy doesn't have a clue when it comes to history. Then he goes on to say that the Quran is the real Torah and that Islam is the real religion that must be spread around America, and America must adopt Islamic Sharia law, not democracy. Then bin Laden goes on and he repeats this anti-Semitic, this Jew-hating trope that America has been taken over by the Jews who run the economy and they control the media and now they control all aspects of your life. He then goes on to condemn American colonization and American capitalism, and he concludes the letter by saying this: "It is saddening to tell you that you are the worst civilization witnessed by the history of mankind." Now remember that. He uses the term worst civilization. Now just a little while ago, back in mid-November, there was this TikTok user, had about 371 followers. She posted a video where she reads parts of this Obama's evil letter to America, where he justifies the killing of 3,000 Americans on September 11, 2001. Within a matter of a couple of days, a journalist by the name of Yashar Ali, he shared a compilation of the TikTok videos in the post on Twitter, now known as X. This post got up to 38 million views. By Thursday afternoon, TikTok realized that actually people were going like, this is great, this bin Laden is a great guy, so they had it banned. They even had the hashtag Letter to America, that almost 20 million people saw, that many millions of the younger generation, Generation Z and millennials were saying this bin Laden is a pretty good guy. I just want you to take a listen to a few wokocrats loving bin Laden's evil letter. Here goes.
Reading this letter, it becomes apparent to me that the actions of 9/11 and those acts committed against the USA and its people were all just the buildup of our government failing other nations.
The way this letter is going viral right now is giving me the greatest sense of relief. If you're Muslim and you've lived in the US since 9/11, you know more truth than the typical citizen. Now it's all coming to light because of Palestine.
I just read a letter to America And I will never look at life the same. I will never look at this country the same.
I need you to stop what you're doing and go read A Letter to America. It is literally the craziest thing I've read in a while. And while I can't say that I'm that surprised, I am pretty shocked.
Those of you who know me know that I have been teaching in some form or fashion American history, world history, going back to 1977 when I was at Arizona State. And it was so important. I learned in undergraduate school and graduate school, I learned how important history was to understanding the good, the bad, and the ugly in America and in world history. But we have now with this younger generation just an absurd understanding, a misunderstanding, a poor understanding of reality, of the evil nature of Islam and what's happening in the world when it comes to the spreading of evil ideas. Let's just take a short listen to News Nation, where they discuss these Zoomers and millennials actually loving this letter to America from bin Laden, who murdered up to almost 3,000 Americans. Here goes.
I do think that there's way too many young Americans that don't understand the horrors of 9/11.
Let's talk about that a little bit, the age, because the age in general, even with the war that's going on now, is a big story about what's happening with all the protests and how old people are protesting the college campuses and all the rest. We have a pie chart, I think, that'll show the age of, people and how it relates to 9/11. This is important, I think. I'm 46, so I was 24 on September 11th of 2001. I was a local radio reporter at the time. I covered 9/11. I covered the attacks, the aftermath. I have a certain perspective on it. You have a certain perspective on it.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who were born after 9/11. And as you said, not all of them have this perspective where they would look at it and take this course of action. But it does bring up this wider question of what's going on right now with young people and how they feel about their own country. We see it in the protests, too. What is it? What's going on here with age?
Guys, there is so much more to say, but for the rest of the story, watch the full episode of One Nation.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right, friends, as children, we've heard tales of writing letters, stuffing them in a glass bottle, and throwing them into the sea with the hope that one day someone in a distant land will find that bottle on shore. Well, that fantasy became reality for a fifth grader in Massachusetts who did just that back in 1997. So let's see where this journey takes us.
It was an unexpected delivery to an elementary school in Sandwich, decades in the making.
It was a letter completely in French from this gentleman in France.
A package and letter from a French fisherman detailing an historic discovery he'd recently made across the pond.
He was actually combing the beach for trash, picking up different, items, and that's when he came upon the bottle. And on the outside of the bottle, this was there.
The message inside, dated October 1997, written by then fifth grader Benjamin Lyons. The bottle, part of a science project about ocean currents, erosion, and climate change. Ben now lives in the D.C. area, but his parents still reside in the community.
His folks have relayed to the district that they're just really, really pleased. And it's kind of like one of those things that just brings a smile to your face.
The contents of the bottle and the letter are now planned to be displayed inside the elementary school.
There's no way to find out how this bottle traveled so far, and I think that's what we're kind of in awe of.
The discovery and correspondence between the French fisherman and school district has current staff and students abuzz.
But did he get an A on the project, or do you have to go back now and be like, Okay, it's no longer incomplete. He finished.
That's funny. Yeah, how did I mean? Did a whale swallow it, or I mean, these are the questions that you don't know how it got way over there. France, right?
Whale over there.
Whale over there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it makes you wonder what the travel path was. When you said message in a bottle, and obviously you think of Kevin. Yeah, you think of Kevin Costner's movie, but I think of The Police as well.
Yeah.
Message in a bottle.
Oh my goodness! I didn't think you were old enough.
Hey, things surprise.
Impressive,
you
Katie.
about
Beyond your
me.
years,
There's
mature
that.
beyond your years,
Or something else. So yeah, I remember as a kid being like, "Wow, I should do that," but then I realized I don't live near an ocean. I guess someone would find
could
it
find it on
lake.
the other side of Lake Michigan or something.
Or something. Woo! It got all the way over to Michigan.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's a really cool
made it to
story.
Traverse City.
Woohoo! Look at it go! And then it travels by land, and then it somehow finds its way into another. Hey, if it got through all the Great Lakes, maybe
Yeah, maybe
get them all there. Oh, we have a project to do now. What do you think?
No,
No, you're not going to do
No.
it. Fine. Well, we want to
I'd
know
rather
what
watch
you
Christmas
think.
movies.
Oh, he's
Still got that thing in my head from a couple days ago. Paid to watch Christmas movies.
If you want to watch Christmas movies, go check out our Tuesday show a couple days ago. Talk about that. You can get paid to do that. But anyway, back to this story. One more thing to think about. Now, they didn't mention anything about the science teacher, and so it makes me wonder. It's been 6 years. Is the science teacher who assigned that assignment still around?
Yeah, they're probably not, or they couldn't get a hold of he or she.
Yeah.
The teacher.
That's all I always think to the teacher. I think from a teacher's perspective on things. But great assignment. I hope.
So the assignment was for the whole class to throw bottles
Basically.
into the ocean. I'm going,
It's
okay,
a
there's
learning
something that's,
time.
if they're care about the environment, there's something that's kind of wrong with that. But
Yeah,
anyway.
well, and
It's
in
for
this
science.
Let's say that was the 90s, and in the late 90s they would be like, "Yeah, let's go for it. We're gonna learn."
It's for science.
2023, there's no way you're allowed to do anything. How dare you?
How
even?
dare you?
How
dare
Greta
you?
Thunberg would be all over you. Would be like, "How dare you even assume that you are able to put a glass bottle into the water? How
With paper-
dare you?
with paper inside."
With papier in it. Papier. Anyway. We're going to wrap things up
Yeah,
for
let's
this week
wrap.
because you can tell that over here
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week. It's hard coming off of a holiday week.
Yeah.
You know, can we go on another holiday? It's the holiday season though. So
It's Christmas season.
Go watch.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to everybody.
We're in between all of the that's why I did holidays. It is now we can say we're post Thanksgiving. It is Christmas time. And then it'll be post Christmas and it'll be like it's New Year's time. So anyway, in the meantime, don't forget that you can catch Educated on the Go by simply subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. And if you want, if you're in the mood for it, if you're in the Christmas spirit, leave us a 5-star review on top of that Christmas tree. That'd be so very nice of you.
Thank you for doing that, reviewing, watching, sharing. For Katie and myself, we appreciate you listening and supporting the show. And until next week, stay educated, America.